Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 6:30.
Businesses will not and cannot use this state of emergency as a business opportunity.
A state crackdown on price gouging has panicked residents clean out stores of disinfectants and sanitizers during the coronavirus crisis. The crackdown announced this afternoon, and moments ago, Governor Gretchen Whitmer reminding people about the need for social distancing. Other developments, the U.S. now has more than 3,000 cases of coronavirus. The Fed is cutting its target interest rate to 0. Illinois and Ohio ordering all bars and restaurants to close. And President Donald Trump telling Americans not to hoard supplies. The mad scramble to stores has led to dozens of reported instances of price gouging in Michigan. TV5's Blake Keller with how the state is fighting that.
Governor Whitmer just issued a new executive order.
That executive order now tackling the issue of price gouging during a state of emergency. So far, the Michigan Attorney General's office has received 75 complaints across the state of price gouging related to coronavirus. That's why the Michigan Attorney General's office is taking a tougher approach on price gouging of goods and emergency supplies like disinfectant wipes and hand sanitizer. In fact, the office detailed some Michigan retailers accused of price gouging.
An Ann Arbor store was allegedly selling hand sanitizer for $60, $40, and $20 a bottle when they regularly sell at $7.50 a bottle, $5 a bottle, and $2.50 a bottle.
Under the temporary measure, which goes into effect Monday morning at 9, businesses or individuals cannot sell any product at a price more than 20% higher than what they were charged for as of March 9th, unless they can prove the increase was due to a purchase hike to bring it to market.
Makes engaging in these actions punishable as a criminal misdemeanor.
Meantime, if you find a retailer price gouging, the Attorney General's office and the Better Business Bureau wants to know about it.
BBB has created a retail price gouging in Michigan Facebook page where we would love to bring consumers who are going through this situation to provide us pictures and maybe even copies of their receipts.
These restrictions will be in place until April 13th, just before midnight. Blake Keller, WNEM TV5.
Thank you, Blake. Residents with price gouging complaints can call the Attorney General at the number on your screen. That's 1-877-765-8388. Well, the crisis prompting stores like Kroger, Walmart, and Aldi to modify their hours. Meijer announcing no plans to close, but it is suspending service at meat and deli counters. All eyes will be on the Senate this week as it takes up a House-passed bill that provides paid family leave and sick pay for people affected by coronavirus. Congressman Dan Kildee of Flint tells TV5 the bill is a start and that more help is needed.
There are things that I would have preferred to have included, more economic aid, more robust economic support for people who are living in poverty in particular. But I felt like we needed to take the action that we could agree on.
President Donald Trump has said he supports the measure. Or new travel restrictions leading to long lines at U.S. airports. This is what Chicago's O'Hare looked like, with returning passengers waiting for hours for required medical screenings. It's one of 13 specific airports passengers have to go through if they're returning from certain European countries, China, and Iran. And beginning tomorrow, the Department of Defense halting all domestic travel for military members, civilian employees, and families assigned to DoD facilities. The restrictions will remain in place through May 11th. And coronavirus coming between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. The Democratic presidential hopefuls were supposed to debate tonight in Arizona. Instead, they'll debate in a studio in Washington with no audience. Well, while many businesses are taking hits because of the crisis, one is especially hurting. The historic Savoy Bar and Grill in downtown Saginaw was rescued last year after a fundraiser. But its owner tells TV5's Ashlyn Hill the pandemic has people staying away.
They were down anyway, but with this coming on, it's actually, we're like going, wow. You know, we go through the whole day and you know, we get 6 tables at night.
Steve West says sales have been down, and not just this week. He's a co-owner at the Savoy Grill in Saginaw and says after an already tough end to 2019, sales in 2020 aren't looking any better, especially amid the coronavirus hitting mid-Michigan.
They're being told every day, and they're closing down sporting events and they're closing down temple events and our reservations have been canceling. And I understand, I get it. It kind of hurts us, but I totally understand at the same time too. So.
On the other hand, West says not everyone can afford to take an extended period of time off, so it's been a little nerve-wracking.
Everyone still needs a job, and what happens if the government decides to say, hey, maybe we should close, everyone should take 2 weeks off, and we're forced into it. I don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen.
And although folks may be less likely to venture out, West says the Savoy will continue their normal business hours and hope for the best for all small businesses during this time.
I'm more worried about everybody like us, a small business, over, the chains, because they have the resources to carry them through easier than the rest of us do.
In Saginaw, Ashlyn Hill, WNEM TV5.
Thank you, Ashlyn. For up-to-date information on the crisis, go to the special section at WNEM.com or use the TV5 mobile app. On New tonight, 4 adults injured in a 2-vehicle crash that sent one of the vehicles into a house and left a mess of personal items in the street. The crash involving a pickup and car shortly after 2 this afternoon, closing Atherton near Ogama in southeast Flint. No word on the extent of injuries nor what caused the crash. Developing news, 2 people have died in a quadruple shooting in Saginaw. It happened just before 9 last night on Gallagher near Cumberland on the southeast side. The victims include 3 females and 1 male. The deceased were identified as 72-year-old Hortense Williams and 48-year-old Teresa Allen. Both were Saginaw residents. No word on a suspect. Authorities trying to track down this suspect accused in an armed robbery this morning at the next door food store in Farwell. It happened at 4:20. The suspect was reportedly armed with a black handgun and carrying a reusable grocery bag. He's described as white, about 5'9", and having a thin build. He was last seen wearing dark pants and a white hooded sweatshirt. If you know who he is, you're asked to call the Clare County Sheriff's Office. A live look over Bay City and Saginaw. It's clear at this hour with no bad weather on the horizon, but the clear skies mean it's going to be cold tonight. Meteorologist John Gross in the First 1-5 Weather Center to tell us how cold. John?
Yeah, Jamie, not too bad today, but cold temperatures coming tonight. We're talking about the 20s, so hope you enjoyed the sunshine today because we'll be seeing things change as we get into next week. Several chances for some precipitation. If you're about to head out the door this evening, let's go ahead and get you some stats on those numbers. Current temperatures mainly into the 30s, 33 in Saginaw, 37 in Mount Pleasant, still 42 in Flint, 29 the cooler spot up to the north in Oscoda. High pressure still continues to dominate the Great Lakes, but that continues to slide off towards the east. Already starting to watch the next system brew over towards the Dakotas, and we'll be watching another system move on in as early as Monday night. So here's a look at what we're tracking. We're going to have up and down temperatures all week long, several chances for precipitation, but then another nice weekend is expected in the next 7 days. We'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
Thank you, John. Well, coming up, a hiker hospitalized with traumatic injuries. Find out how an act of courteousness ended up nearly killing him. Still ahead, the deadly toll from a massive pipeline explosion. And we'll tell you about a scare involving a man in a hazmat suit at a grocery store coming up next.